Good morning. Good morning. It is week 7 of the NFL. It is a beautiful Sunday morning, and we are going to get right into some football talk. It is That Football Show brought to you by True to New York Sports and 106th Street Tire and Wheel. Go to 106th Street Tire and Wheel for all your automotive needs located in Corona, Queens. Chet's here today. My knucklehead partner, I don't know where he is. He may have been abducted. I can't even tell anymore. But Chet was good enough to join me this morning. Chet, how are you doing today, my friend?
Morning, Billy. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. How's everything going?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. We got a lot going on with the NFL today, and we're going to get right into the biggest news of the week for the NFL. Christian McCaffrey is a 49er. I mean, the 49ers, they're following the Rams model to me. F them draft picks. They have now traded their top 4 draft picks. The first round pick went in the Trey Lance trade 2 years ago, and they just traded their second, third, and fourth, plus a 5th next year to the Carolina Panthers for McCaffrey. What are you thinking about this?
I was surprised he went to San Francisco because I heard a couple other teams that were very interested in him. I knew Miami was very interested in him, and all those draft picks they have that they could trade a lot of first rounders. I also heard Buffalo was on their radar looking at him, and actually so were the Rams.
I think it came down to the Rams and the 49ers from everything I saw. Buffalo would be a great fit, but I just don't see Buffalo as they're not the organization that invests that much in a running back.
I mean, they
never really have been.
Yeah, the offer I originally heard for him would have been Singletary, McKenzie, and a couple of draft choices for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was enough. I don't know why. In Carolina, I don't know why they'd want Singletary for what they're trying to do, for what they got. I mean, Carolina has now put themselves in a position to rebuild this team very quickly with the amount of draft picks they have.
Yes.
They have a first, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths in this draft. I mean, they can get the quarterback because we both know Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold come off their books after this year.
Yes.
Done, clean, white. Neither one of them. I mean, Darnold is more likely to me in a backup role or maybe even as a placeholder you could potentially see depending on what goes the rest of this season. I don't know. But they can get the quarterback. They've already, from what I've heard also, they received an offer of 2 firsts for Brian Burns, but they turned it down. They said they're not trading Burns. They're not trading Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, or DJ Moore. Those are the guys they're looking to build this team around. And to build around those guys, plus have 7 picks in the first 4 rounds, they have the potential, whether it's to trade, whether it's to keep the picks and draft these guys, they have the potential to rebuild very quick. But the biggest thing they're going to have to do, they got to get the coach right this time.
Yes.
I, as a Giant fan, and thank God we didn't get Matt Rule, because that looks to have been nothing short of a disaster.
Yeah. It is. And you look at it this way with Carolina, next year's college quarterbacks are going to be very deep next year. It's just not one quarterback. You're looking at possibly, they were saying 5 or 6 first-round quarterbacks being drafted next year through the NFL. Yeah, can they go that way? Yes.
Quarterback's going to be deep. But the biggest thing, and we've seen it lately with these quarterbacks, is they got to get the coach right.
Yeah.
If you don't have the right coach, what's going to happen? I mean, you could go back. A perfect example of that, honestly, Alex Smith. Look at Alex Smith in the beginning of his career. And then look when he went to a coach like Kyle Shanahan. Look when he was with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
He was with good coaches. Got it right. Look when he went to Andy Reid. He had good coaches. He looked good. But in the beginning of his career, everybody thought he was a bust. Alex Smith was a bust. No, he wasn't.
No.
It was bad coaching.
Yeah.
Look at Derek Carr. Give Derek Carr a good coach. Derek Carr looks like a good quarterback this year. They're not playing great, and it's really the Raiders' problems are the defense.
Defense, yes.
The offense of the Raiders has been fine, and they have brought in an offensive-minded coach in Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Derek Carr with a good offensive coach, Derek Carr looks good. When Derek Carr with John Gruden looked lost, because I said it all along from the beginning of the Gruden hiring, the game passed John Gruden by. he spent too much time in the booth before he came back, and the game just passed him by.
Yeah.
I mean, look at San Diego right now. Is that not the Los Angeles Chargers?
Yeah.
To me, they're a bad coach team. That's what's hurting that team right now is they're not well coached.
Yeah, well, plus with the Chargers, I mean, your top gunner has been hurt on pretty much all year, and Keenan Allen. That doesn't help either.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is from what I've seen so far, a game time decision today. But yeah, I mean, they're just not a good coached team.
Because they got talent.
Our Giants for years, since Tom Coughlin, have been a bad coached team.
Oh, absolutely.
The Giant. I mean, we haven't had any big influx of talent. We just got some guys healthy.
Yeah. Well, and the best thing, like I said, what you have is you got the Saquon Barkley back from his rookie year.
Yes, you're getting healthy, and that's one thing I've said about the Giants, and people have been misconstruing it. I never thought the Giants were a bad team. They were bad coached, and they weren't healthy. Now they got a good coach.
Yep.
And they've got health except for wide receiver.
Yeah.
And they look a lot better.
They do.
Steelson here joining us this morning telling us Carr is mediocre at best. He may be, but he's a serviceable NFL quarterback, and he looks a lot better in a good coached offense.
Yeah.
That's my point. I'm not saying Carr is great by any stretch of the imagination.
It also helps when you have your main man at Devontae Adams. I mean, it helps.
Offense, Carr looks a lot better. I'll give you the prime example right now of a bad coach team, and everybody knows it. The Denver Broncos are a terribly coached team. Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know. It looks to me like McAdoo 2.0 here, where they ran out to grab Aaron Rodgers, quarterback coach again, and he's not nearly ready at all to be a head coach.
No way.
And I mean, everything you're hearing about Russell Wilson is, maybe Pete Carroll was right the whole time. Maybe the offense Pete Carroll built, there was a reason for it. Because now they're quote unquote letting Russ cook there, and Russ doesn't even look like he belongs using the microwave. I mean, let's be serious.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson looks terrible. He's going to miss today's game after his Wolverine blood comments that he was fine. Now it's coming out. I think they're saying he may have a torn hamstring.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Broncos are going to be worse off for it. I really don't.
First it was the labrum, and now it's the hamstring.
Yep.
Back-to-back weeks. Does also, I heard on the Denver end today that they're entertaining talks for Bradley Chubb and Jerry Jeudy.
They've gotten offers on Chubb, Jeudy, and Hamler.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do there in Denver. I mean, to me, Denver's a lot bigger situation.
Yes.
You've made a $235 million commitment to the quarterback. You can't rebuild. You can't tear this team down.
Right.
You have to tweak
it a little bit, but
you have to tweak things. The number one thing is you got to be better coached. And
yeah, it starts there.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what you can't, when you've invested $235 million in just the quarterback, and you have the offensive weapons that you do have in Cortland Sutton, in Jerry Jeudy, in KJ Hamler, in the tight ends, because their tight ends are good. They're not great. They're good NFL tight ends. Right. To me, you got to look at the coach. You got to look at the coach on this one. I mean, Hackett has looked overmatched pretty much every week. I mean, you go back even 2 weeks ago to that Thursday night dumper where, you know what? I'm not going to try to tie the game and go to overtime. I'm going to try to win with an offense that is giving me no indication or confidence that they'd be able to pull that play off. And guess what? What did they do? They didn't.
Not even close.
How do you go for a 2-point conversion with a totally inept and an offense that looked overmatched from the opening gun?
I didn't get that call either. That's a head scratcher to me.
Exactly. He was trying to make up for week one when he took the ball out of Russ's hands. He worries too much about things like that and doesn't worry about the fundamentals of trying to do the best thing for the football team. And I still only believe that they hired Hackett because I think they really thought, we hire Hackett, we're getting Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah, and everybody said that. We said that everybody, all the protagonators and all the experts. And I sit there, look at it. I mean, they definitely are overcoached without a doubt. Okay, that shows to me. Okay, so how good Pete Carroll is a coach.
I mean, you look at Pete Carroll and what he did. Pete Carroll looks like the genius in this situation.
Exactly.
You look at what's come out from former teammates over the last few weeks. Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, not two altar boys, but guys that that don't BS. I mean, I heard an interview that the two of them did together where they were basically insinuating that they didn't even get to communicate with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson wasn't one of the guys. If they wanted to call Russell Wilson, they had to speak to his business manager who relayed the message. That's how this guy has treated teammates.
Yeah.
I've heard guys saying, Russell Wilson, he's not a bad guy. Like, Russell Wilson's the guy you invite to your backyard barbecue, hang out with the kids or whatever. But when you're going out with the boys and being one of the boys, Russell Wilson's not the guy you invite, not the guy you want there, because he's just not that person. And in a locker room, especially as a quarterback, that's bad. I mean, you look at Tom Brady. One of the things that has kept Tom Brady adored by his teammates everywhere he's been is that he's one of the guys. He's in there rah-rah, and he's throwing the Lombardi across friggin' boats.
That's what I say. All you gotta do is show the Super Bowl party.
Tom Brady is a leader. Tom Brady will get in your face when he needs to, as we all saw last week. But Tom Brady's one of the boys, and that's where they respect him. Because, I mean, I'm a very big believer. You lead by example. And Russell Wilson doesn't seem like the type of leader that does that. Russell Wilson honestly doesn't seem like much of a leader to me at all.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because if you look at the situation that he had in Seattle and what he's got there now, I think he had more to do with making what Seattle was than he is doing with Denver.
Yeah, no, he's been given the responsibility he always wanted, and it's showing it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't looked good at all.
No. And
they've generally had a winnable schedule. Like, I looked at the Broncos, honestly, I thought the Broncos could win that division in the preseason.
Right, you did say that.
I think we were all fooled by Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I think that trade, we looked at it because, I mean, I remember personally saying a million times last year, they're a quarterback away from being a team.
Yeah.
If that team had a quarterback, they could play.
Because like I said, they got the talent with Sutton and Judy. They're game breakers.
I wonder now. I look at that team and go, would they have been better off giving Drew Lock another chance?
I think so.
That's my question there. Would they have been better off giving Drew Lock another chance?
It couldn't get any worse.
I mean, that's really the sad part is they could not get much worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what else to say there. It's sad to see what that organization has become. I think changes need to come there. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's the coach.
I agree.
I don't blame the GM on this.
No.
The GM gave you every piece you needed. You needed the quarterback. He went out and got you one of the better ones.
Yeah, and the funny thing with Denver is their defense is not that bad. They're playing pretty good, that defense is.
We've been talking about them for 3 or 4 minutes now. We have not mentioned an issue with the defense whatsoever.
Yeah.
The defense is not the problem in Denver.
Definitely not.
The Denver defense, their issue is, like every team with the bad offense, you leave them out there long enough because the offense is so bad. Yeah, they're going to get exposed.
Exactly. Yes. That's any team.
That's any team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's the best defense, the number 1 ranked defense to the number 32 ranked defense.
Yeah.
You leave them out there long enough, you're going to find a way to beat them.
Yes.
I mean, and look, perfect example. We're gonna go right into it right now. The New York Giants. For years, everybody's been saying the Giants defense stunk. This stunk, that stunk. No, it was never about it. The offense was bad. The offense wasn't healthy. Daniel Jones is right now, to me, Daniel Jones is playing himself. This team is playing themselves into Daniel Jones being the quarterback next year and for the next few years of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. You're 5-1 right now. You're making steps. You can't go backwards now. You can't go out and draft a rookie and say we're going to start over at quarterback.
Yeah.
We're going to go out and start. There's no rookie coming out that's going to come in day one and give a team that could potentially win 7, 8, 9 games this year. Because at this point, it's logical that they could win 2, 3, 4 more games.
Oh, easily.
With the way they're playing and the schedule. I mean, it's realistic if they play the way they've been playing that they can win their next 4 and go into. I mean, they have winnable games on the schedule.
They do.
Jacksonville today's a winnable game.
Yes.
They got Houston coming up. They got Detroit. They have winnable games on the schedule. They could if you tell me right now the Giants go into Thanksgiving at 7-3.
I take it a run.
That's going 2-2 in your next 4 games, 4 winnable games. It's realistic. Yeah. You're not going backwards now to a rookie. And I don't see a veteran out there that you're going to say you could plug into the system as a placeholder that's available. Yeah. Like, to me, I had thoughts before seeing this offense of, you know what, if you got rid of Jones, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo is a 2-year contract. Maybe that's a placeholder for you while you're getting the rookie ready. And the second year is affordable enough that if Jimmy G's your backup, you're okay with it financially. No, seeing this offense and seeing what's working for it, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't work in this offense because he doesn't have the mobility of a Daniel Jones.
I actually like that they have Tyrod Taylor as their backup.
I agree, because it's one of the biggest things. You had their similar skill set. You don't have to change everything up.
You tweak a little bit here and there.
The biggest thing with the Giants last year when they went to Mike Glennon when Jones got hurt, Mike Glennon has no mobility whatsoever. None. So now you went from your mobile quarterback of trying to get him out of the pocket, trying to make plays on the run and all that, to Glennon, who's a stationary in the pocket passer. You're trying to run 2 different offenses there.
Yeah.
Now,
that's not easy.
The difference of Jones to Tyrod Taylor to even Davis Webb, who has some mobility, if you had to go down that far, you have similar skill sets at the quarterback position. And that's the consistency is very important. But I mean, right now, why wouldn't you bring Daniel Jones back?
Oh, absolutely.
The way he's playing, the way this team is going, the progress is being made. And now I'm not, again, I am not saying give Daniel Jones Russell Wilson money. I'm not saying give Daniel Jones any. If you told me you brought Daniel Jones back on a 3-year contract and to make it up for the years, you fully guaranteed it, at this point of what I'm seeing today, I got to be okay with that.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree. And like I said, him and Saquon are basically playing themselves into, like I said, 2 3-year contracts at least.
I want Saquon Barkley back.
So do I.
If Saquon Barkley stays healthy, I want Saquon Barkley back. The only thing that worries me, and I wouldn't even call it a worry because these guys have done nothing wrong where I could say Joe Shane, Brian Dable, like we were just talking about Buffalo a few minutes ago with McCaffrey. They don't come from places where you spend like that on a running back. And you're going to have to spend some money to keep Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And it worries me where they have to look. I mean, they got a little draft. They have work to do on offense. We're going to have, it's very likely we may have a whole new wide receiver room next year, with the exception of Wendell Robinson, who last week, finally healthy, looked great, and Richie James, who's been very solid. Those could be the only 2 guys that come back next year. Because I got to be honest, unless it's like a veteran minimum to try to prove himself, non-guaranteed, Sterling Shepard has played his last game in a Giant uniform. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate the way he went out with the injuries. I get that.
Yeah.
Kenny Golladay, he's not going to be on this roster next year.
No, they got to get
whatever they, barring a miraculous turnaround where he comes back from the latest quote unquote mystery or whatever else is wrong with him. Kenny Galladay's not going to be on this roster next year. Kadarius Toney is damn sure not going to be on this roster next year.
I think the other guy you keep is that young tight end Bellinger. I think he's been very good.
Bellinger has been the surprise. If there's a surprise in the Giant offense this year, it has definitely been Daniel Bellinger.
Daniel Bellinger. Oh, yes. I definitely keep, because if you look at additions, I'm looking at the college draft, even wide receivers deep next year, too.
The
draft
Giants,
also.
They're going to, between free agency and the draft, the Giants have to be active at wide receiver.
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah.
That's one of the things. Do they turn around and look at this and go, my money's better spent upgrading wide receiver and drafting a running back than it is paying Saquon Barkley what could amount to somewhere between 15, 16, 17 million dollars a year.
Right.
When you're going, unless you go crazy and really go backwards and risk your career, because I'll tell you right now, with all they've done right, if they decide to turn around and say Daniel Jones is out and we're drafting our next quarterback, we're drafting the guy we want, and they're taking right now at this point as we sit here before week 7 starts, that is a huge risk. Don't get me wrong. If Daniel Jones collapses through the rest of the season and something crazy happens and he's terrible and the Giants don't win another game, then you're justified in doing that.
Right.
Then you're there to say, hey, guys, we got to blow this up. He's not our guy. But we have no indication that's going to happen. So we can only go by the here and the now. And the here and the now with the play of Daniel Jones, he's got to be back. And going rate for a quarterback, I'm sorry, is going to be somewhere between $14 to $18 million a year for a quarterback like Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and if you look at
he's making less than Jared Goff. Are you telling me Daniel Jones right now, the way he's playing 6 weeks into this season, doesn't deserve more money than Jared Goff?
Oh,
absolutely he does.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but it's a business. And in the business, you got to follow the market, because if you don't, someone else is going to. Daniel Jones is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL next year.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing. When I look at what I would do as the Giants, I sign Jones and Barkley and go get and draft wide receivers. Because if you look at the last few years, teams have done so well drafting wide receivers. How good they've gotten right away.
I mean, it's a lot bigger.
Look at Cincinnati when they got Jamar Chase.
I know.
Okay, how good they got.
The difference is it's not about that. The difference is, though, they were able to do something like that back-to-back years. Those guys are still on their rookie deals.
Yeah.
They have to pay an entire roster. And tying up the only way I think we have a good shot of putting a good team on the field while both come back is if by some miracle they get rid of Kenny Galladay's contract. Because whether he steps on the field or not, there's money there that's going to count against the cap. And I don't see how you're getting rid of that. But again, barring a miracle.
How about I give you a name? Maybe for this year, if you want it that bad. You'll laugh at it. You can. Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, at this point, I would like it, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I know Steele's going to chime in at any minute right now and say, you buried Odell. The difference now between the Odell Beckham Jr. situation 2 years ago and the difference between it today is the Giants are a better structured organization to handle someone like Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. was far different with Tom Coughlin than he was with McAdoo and Pat Shermer, because he was able to get away with. They couldn't control him. Brian Dable, Joe Shane. This is an organization getting back to that, and Odell Beckham Jr. knows that, and that's why Odell Beckham Jr. was fine with the Rams last year, because he respected Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on there now, I don't know. I still wouldn't be shocked to see him back with the Rams, because ultimately, to me, that's still his best fit is with the Rams.
I disagree. I think the two best fits these guys are either the Giants or the Bills.
I can't say the defending champions, where he knows the offense already. I can't say that's not the best fit for him. I mean, you have to remember, you're talking about a guy that isn't going to be able to really roll for probably another month. He's got to go in somewhere. He's got to learn an offense. He's got work to do. So you're really looking at, if he goes to a new team, him not being a real contributor to that team till probably after Thanksgiving. By the time he gets ready to even start practicing, then is learning a playbook and is doing everything else. He's got a lot of work to do. Where with the Rams, he's a fit. He knows what's in that building. They know him. He knows them. So while he might get more opportunities and looks elsewhere, the best fit for him is still going back to LA to the Rams. At this point, would I like to see him as a Giant? Yeah, I'd like to see anything that can help the Giants receivers.
Well, you got Landon Collins playing today, which helps.
I mean, Galladay's out again today. Right. Tony's out again today.
Right.
But, I mean, the Giants have this game with the Jaguars. This is a winnable game.
Oh, you have to win this game.
The Jaguars are another team we can get back to what we were talking about before. They are now a better coach team.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing with the Jaguars. They went from the Urban Meyer disaster to Doug Peterson, and they are a better coach team, and it's starting to show.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence is making progress.
Right.
I mean, that kid was set so far back his first year. I think Trevor Lawrence is still going to come out in the end and have a very successful NFL career.
Oh, I agree with you on that.
I understand why it's not happening right away after everything and all the crap that went on there last year. I get that.
Right.
But, I mean, James Robinson has come back and looked good. Travis Etienne has come back from his looking better and better, this is still essentially Travis Etienne's rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. And he looks better and better every week. He is actually starting to look more and more like the explosive running back for this Jaguars team. And I wouldn't be shocked to see him as their primary ball carrier, maybe even as soon as today. I wouldn't be surprised.
They have been leaning toward that the last few weeks, toward that, inching him into that.
I mean, again, the Jaguars are building an offense.
Yeah.
They've got solid receivers: Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones.
Well, Marvin Jones is supposed to be out today.
Marvin Jones is out. Marvin Jones Jr. is out today.
Right. Okay,
but I mean, they're building it. They're building a team there. They're building that defense back. But I mean, I can't see how, unless you're a Jaguars fan, how you pick against the Giants today. I mean, I know myself, like, we look at the spread, everybody looks at it. The Giants getting points. Jaguars not that good. The Giants 5-1.
Yeah.
Like,
the Jaguars have played better than their record's been.
Yep. Nobody believes.
If you look at it, they played against Philly a couple weeks ago.
Exactly.
They were up 14-0 in the first quarter.
You know, there's a lot of people out there believe the Jaguars are better than their record. The Giants aren't as good as their record. So this is what they're called. This is the ultimate trap game. Yeah, this is what everybody in the betting world, they call a trap game.
Yep.
I'm not calling it a trap game. I think the Giants are going to win this game. I think we're going to continue to see the good, consistent football we've seen from the Giants. The main thing, I said it, and I was there last week, so I even got to witness it.
You were there, yep.
Live in the stadium. The Giant offense needs to start quicker.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing to me. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to speak as a fan right now. I'm going to speak totally objectively.
Right.
It's going to catch up to you eventually. You're not going to be able to keep winning games the way you're doing it coming back the last second. Like that doesn't sustain over an entire season.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well for you. You have to start scoring in the first half.
I always come out, like I said, first drive today. Even if you kick a field goal, get points on the board right off the bat. Put the pressure on Jackson.
I want to see the Giant defense build on that end of the game last week.
Yep.
All I want is sitting there last week watching it. Yeah, they're getting some pressure. They weren't getting to Lamar Jackson.
And that the one person I wanted to bring up that I was going to bring up as a key to the game, I need to see Thibodeau start doing more.
I want to see Kayvon Thibodeau build on last week.
Yeah.
I want it because, again, it creates opportunity. And we've said that for years. The Giant pass rush for the last few years has been non-existent. And that's why and again, it gives more and more time for you to expose a secondary that has played better than they may be. But they're not bad. But the problem is when they're given time to be picked apart, that's going to happen. Any good quarterback is going to do that. But when look at last week, you started getting to Lamar, you sacked him, you hit him. There you go. He fumbles a snap, maybe looking to see where Thibodeau was on the play before the ball was snapped, and he ends up losing it. Picks the ball up, makes a stupid throw trying to be a hero. Julian Love intercepts it. That's what we need. We need to get back to giant football where we created havoc on defense. And I'm firm believer we have the right defensive coordinator to make that happen. The players need to get there. I mean, my biggest complaint about the Giants last week was the collapses in the run defense that allowed Kenyon Drake to come off the bench and rush for 119 yards. We can't let that happen today. The Giants need to go out there today and dare Trevor Lawrence to beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut down the run game. They need to get pressure on it, and they need to dare Trevor. They need to let Trevor Lawrence try to win the game and bank on the mistakes that a guy who still is learning the NFL, because he didn't have much of a chance to learn anything last year in the disaster of a rookie season he had with Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I agree with also. Like I said, you shut down that running game for them today. You're looking at this point, okay, Trevor Lawrence can still be wild. I've seen that. He still can be wild throwing the football. There's no getting around that. Okay. I mean, granted, he's got Christian Kirk. Okay, that helps. Okay, Etienne can't catch the ball in the backfield. But the key is, like I said, you have to stop the running game for that team.
Yeah, you got to focus on the run. You got to put pressure on. You got to make him try to win the game with his arm, and you got to make plays, and that's the biggest thing. The offense, we need the offense to step up, to start a little quicker, establish the run, get some passes going, get Jones out of the pocket, do what you do well, but do it for a full 60 minutes.
Right,
and that's the biggest key. Do it for a full 60 minutes on both sides of the ball, and the Giants can win this game.
Yes.
Now we're going to get the Jets and the Broncos. I mean, I personally liked the Jets to win this game before it was announced that Russell Wilson was out, because I don't know anybody who could say, I like the Denver Broncos right now. The Denver Bronco fans don't like the Denver Broncos right now. I mean, they might be better. They may end up better right now with Rippon starting this game. Their offense may look better than it has all season with Russell Wilson.
Well, to bring your comment up, this is the biggest trap game of the week. I actually like Denver in this game. Outright to win at home. I do.
I mean, now I'm even more confident.
Here's why. Here's why, in my opinion, I'm thinking, okay? You have no film on this kid Rippon. Okay, the Jets don't. Okay? This guy has nothing to lose at all. Okay, I can see Jerry Jeudy busting out today, because it's going to be hard to start both of those receivers, regardless of who's a quarterback. Okay, Jets need to get pressure on him. You can't let him breathe. Okay, if you let him breathe, you're gonna be asking for trouble, especially play in Denver.
I mean, really, the biggest thing for the Jets today, my key to the Jets, offense. They have to go out and they have to score, because Nathaniel Hackett has showed, and he showed it last week, when they get down, he will abandon the run. And, I mean, Melvin Gordon, Mike Boone, Latavius Murray, that they signed off the Saints practice squad, those running backs don't scare me. If the Jets defense has played well. The Jets in general have played a lot better. If they weren't named the Jets, I think we'd be giving them a lot more respect. But we need, number one, the offense needs to get it going. The offense needs to score, and they need better play from the quarterback. I believe in Zach Wilson. I have since the draft last year. I think he just needs to get going. I think they need to let him get out there. Breece Hall is an absolute stud. Mm-hmm. Michael Carter is one of the best number 2 running backs in the NFL. Let's be real. How many teams' running game with the 1-2 punch looks as good as the Jets do? Not many. I mean, everybody's got your Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
look at Jacksonville. Look at Jacksonville. They're good too.
Yeah, but the Jets are in that conversation running game. I'm sorry. The Jets belong at the top there. I mean, they have
I would say top 3, yes.
Absolutely.
Top 3, yes, not top.
They had the whole Elijah Moore drama this week where he demanded a trade, which to me was absolutely selfish and stupid. You're winning games, and you're going to start pulling the Keyshawn Johnson crying, give me the damn ball crap. I mean, no. That's just got to stop.
Yeah.
He's got to get, they're not playing. Moore will not play today.
No.
Garrett Wilson's a stud. Garrett Wilson is the real.
He's played well.
They got to get him the ball. Corey Davis, we know Wilson likes to throw to Corey Davis.
Yes, he's bounced back.
Tyler Conklin, they got to get him back involved because, after a few, he's had a couple of slow weeks. He started off the season strong with Joe Flacco. We know Conklin can catch the ball.
Yeah.
They got to get Zach Wilson comfortable back there. I don't know, maybe a couple of short passes, maybe a couple of checkdowns. Do something to get him in a rhythm early.
I think he'd have a big game today for the Jets, and I haven't seen him really around lately. I think it buffs out Braxton Berrios.
Get him in a rhythm early.
Yeah.
Couple of quick slants, couple of checkdowns to the back. You have the weapons to do these things. Establish a rhythm. Don't worry so much of, I got to do this. Pass, run, run. Then maybe one pass. No. You got to let him you got to get a rhythm going. Get it going quick. Couple of quick outs. Do something to establish a rhythm with Zach Wilson. Prioritize him the way you've prioritized these running backs. And I think you will see an improvement in that. And I think it will lead to the scoring that you need today, because that's what you want to do when you have a backup quarterback in there, especially one that has no real track record and hasn't played much like Rippon. You want to make him have to put the game on his shoulders. That's what you want to do. And when you do that with a quarterback like this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, when you have somebody who's coming out for his first game, usually the best game is their first game they play. With a lot of quarterbacks I've seen. So, I mean, if I'm the Jets, I wouldn't take them lightly.
No, and I don't believe,
especially in Denver.
I don't believe the Jets will take anyone lightly. But I believe if you get Wilson going, if you get him in a rhythm, and you combine that with that running game, I believe that offense can put Denver in a position where the quarterback has to take it on his shoulders. Right. Like I said, we said it earlier, the Bronco defense is good.
Yes.
But if you keep them on the field long enough, you're going to make plays.
Right.
And that's the same with any defense.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Tire them out, keep them on the field, especially up there in Mile High with the oxygen levels and everything else. Use it to your advantage. The Jets have a lot of things they can use to their advantage in this game. They just have to be able to do it. And I'm going with the Jets to win this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a closer game than most people think. I mean, I actually like the Broncos to win by a field goal. That's how close I'm thinking. I'm not thinking blowout. I mean, if the Jets win, hey, that they deserve to win. I have no problem with it. But just in my mind, I just think, like I said, I think Denver can win this game out.
We're on opposite ends on that one. I'm going 27-14 Jets.
Okay.
That's my call for this one.
Hey, if the Jets win, I'll admit I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't hate them. It's just like I said, to me, it looks like that's a trap game to me.
I hear you. All right, quick. We're gonna give our fantasy picks of the day. I'm gonna go first on this one.
Go ahead.
My first fantasy pick of the day is coming from the Bucs-Panthers game. I'm going with Chris Godwin. I think today Tom Brady is gonna come out. Tom Brady's gonna pick apart a bad defense. They have not been good. You saw a lot of frustration last week from Tom Brady, from the Bucs sidelines. I think they're going to turn it around today against a team that we know now really is just playing the season out at this point. Starting week 7, they're just playing it out. They're looking to hopefully secure the number 1 draft pick. They'll never come out and say it, but that's what they're shooting for. I think Chris Godwin is going to have a big game today in Carolina.
Okay, well, I have 2. I have one at a wide receiver and one at quarterback. My wide receiver I'm taking today is Brandon Ayuk of San Francisco against Kansas City. Okay, Kansas City's secondary is weak. You can see that how they've been picked apart the last few weeks. Okay, they're going to sit there, San Francisco, with McCaffrey coming in. That's going to help them. Okay, you're going to sit there. They're going to key on Deebo Samuel. You're going to key on Kittle. Ayuk has stepped up the last few weeks to a point where, he could be, like I said, a 1A receiver on that team. And I think he might have a big game today against that weak defense.
I mean, That's going to be a real good game. I'm looking forward to today. McCaffrey is going to play.
Yes.
I'm interested to see how they use him. But I'm going to give you my second pick right now.
Yeah.
My second fantasy pick of the day is going to be the Green Bay Packers backfield, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. We have not seen a ton from these guys. This is a game, the Commanders, where I think the Packers are just going to go out there and look to play keep away, keep their offense on the field, keep the Washington defense on the field. And I think between throwing and running the ball with their running backs, I think that's what you're going to see. And I think we're going to see a combination of these two guys have a monster day today in Washington.
My second one is a quarterback, and it's about time that he basically steps up finally. And I think I said, I'm not sure if Allen's playing today or not. Even if he's not playing, it should be Justin Herbert. Playing at home against Seattle. Okay. Eckler's been back to where he should be. Okay. I'm thinking today it's Herbert time to sit there and maybe throw 3 or 4 touchdown passes against Seattle tonight. Look for Mike Williams. Look for Eckert. I think it's time for them to step up because that division was supposed to be the strongest division in football. And right now it's not. It really isn't. Okay, this is the time I say you're playing at home. You're playing against the Seattle defense. It's pretty much average. Okay. I think he just has a big game today. Steps it up, throws 3 or 4 touchdowns.
It would be great. It would be great to see that team turn it around. It'd be great to see someone in that division, which we all thought before the beginning of the year was going to be the best division in football.
And it's not.
And there's been no consistency out of the division at all. So to see Justin Herbert or anyone step up there would be great.
I think the best division right now is the NFC East. I hate to say it.
It's really starting to look it. It really, no joke, it is.
I mean, you look at the Giants at 5-1. You look at Philly, they're that good. Prescott's back today for Dallas. Washington hasn't played that bad all year. Even though they got a losing record, they haven't played that bad.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to keep it moving. My bold prediction of the week. Everything we're hearing, including what came out of practice yesterday, was that Mac Jones will be back at quarterback for the Patriots tomorrow night against the Bears. We're going to start hearing the first whispers of a quarterback controversy since Brady and Bledsoe in New England because Mac Jones is back and the Chicago Bears are going to beat the Patriots at home. And it's going to be because of bad offensive play. That is my bold prediction. This offense is going to take a step backwards from what we've seen with Bradley Zappi over the last few weeks. And we're going to have talks next week over who should be the quarterback in New England. Should it be Zappi? Should it be Jones? Because they're going to lose this game tomorrow night.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. But my bold prediction of the day today is that you're going to see out of Tampa Bay, like I said, you brought up Chris Godwin. I'm thinking that as the upset special of the week that Carolina beats Tampa Bay.
That would just be unbelievable.
If everything has been going on there already.
I give you credit for that one. It may be just be crazy enough to work. I don't know, but that's going to be a big one. If Tampa Bay loses today, they are in a lot more trouble than any of us ever really believed. But Chet, this is for you. Give us your letdown of week 7. What is your letdown prediction for this week?
Well, letdown for week 7. I think you saw one of the letdowns. I think the other letdown is that I think after this week, I think Arthur Smith gets fired as the Atlanta coach. And here's why. Yeah, you don't have Cordell Patterson's been hurt. Where has Kyle Pitts been all year? Arthur Smith does not like Kyle Pitts. He's come out on the record and said it. Kyle Pitts, they finally started throwing to last week. Okay? He is a top 10 stud in the NFL when he's on. He can play with tight end. He can play with wide receiver. He's a matchup nightmare that they don't throw to. Okay? Mariota is not that bad. Okay? Yes, I said, with Patterson being out, you got to throw him the ball. Okay? The Atlanta defense stinks. You can see that. I think he's the first head coach that gets fired. It's going to be him after this week.
Well, I mean, it's not the first because Matt Rule already was.
Oh, Matt Rule, that's true. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't disagree with you, but I think that's going to wait till the end of the year because, especially after this week, it would just be bad. How do you fire the coach of what you knew was going to be a bad team this year if he loses a game to the defending AFC champions? I just the timing of it just doesn't sit right with me, and I don't think anyone else you're going to bring in midseason is going to do anything miraculous at this point with this team. That team needs a coaching overhaul after this season.
I think it's time to do it now because, like I said, you lost Patterson. You know, you have London, who's not bad, but pitch is your weapon.
The only way I do it now is if I have the guy there that I want to be the long-term coach, and I know it. If that's the case, then yeah. But if you don't know what your future plans would be, just know that you don't want Arthur Smith coaching the team anymore. I don't see what the point is right now. I just don't. I mean, the Matt Rule situation was just a disaster. Yeah. I mean, everything there was going wrong. They just, and I honestly believe Matt Rule's agent worked out a scenario with the Panthers to get him out of there so Matt Rule could get back to get one of the college jobs that open up before everything starts going with that. And that's in everybody's best interest because, again, he's still got a contract. They want to get as much money off that contract that they're going to have to pay him as they can.
Yeah.
So I believe that Matt Rule, that was somewhat orchestrated. Like, look, if you're not going to bring him back, if you already know it, he gets it, no problem. We want a chance to go after some big college openings that are going to come up. Let him go now so he can get a head start preparing for those interviews. That's what I think went on there. The Arthur Smith situation I see is totally different. I think that it's going to happen at the end of the year. I don't see a point at what you're going to do right now. Unless you have somebody in that building that you think, I want to give him a shot because I think there's potential that he could be our next head coach.
I can see that.
Cool. All right. Let's get into our week 7 matchups. Let's see what we got. Starting off the day, the 2-4 Browns at the 3-3 Ravens. Who do you like in this one?
Actually, Baltimore. Not big. I think a close game. I think Lamar's just going to have another big game today. Him and Mark Andrews.
I think I'm going with Baltimore because I feel Baltimore has to win this game. After what they did last week, again, they've now blown 3 10-point-plus leads this season. That's their 3 losses.
Yep.
In their 3 losses, they went into the second half leading by 10 points or more.
Yeah.
They have to get it right. We know they have the talent. They have the coaching staff. They've got to get it right, and they've got to start today by beating the Cleveland Browns. And I don't see any other way. I mean, I know you've already given your feeling. You think this next game, the Bucs at the 1-5 Panthers, that the Panthers are going to win it. I disagree. I think Tampa Bay is in a must-win game right here, and I think they're going to pull it out. Tampa Bay's not what they were. Tampa Bay's the better team here, though.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You know, Brady gave him that pep talk and everything like that, with the offensive line. The offensive line's not that good for them. And then that's an issue. That's an issue they're going to have all year with that. They used to be, okay, you go down there and they're going to win. Not anymore.
No, they're getting old. They're an old team. Tom Brady looks old.
Yeah.
Physically, performance-wise, Tom Brady looks old. I don't know how ready Tom Brady was for this season. I don't know if this team looks at Tom Brady the same because remember, things are a lot different now. The 2 weeks off in training camp.
Yeah.
There's a lot of days he's not in the building when they're practicing. Tom Brady there's been Saturday walkthroughs that Tom Brady's missed. I mean, it's very hard to lead a team when you're not going through all the rigors that team is going through. When you're not there, I mean, we talked about Tom Brady being one of the boys. I mean, I'm sure he is when he's there, but the problem is there's times he's not there.
Yeah, right.
And that's not lost. I mean, they brought in Julio Jones. It's been terrible.
Disaster.
He's not playing again today.
No.
Nothing good has come out of that signing. I think one thing they need to do, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, and they still haven't fully done it yet, I think they need to get Rachaad White more involved in that offense. They need to bring energy to that offense. And I said, Chris Godwin's one of my picks today. That's a guy you got to do it with. Mike Evans is still there, and Rachaad White has got to start getting in there a little more for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And they've got to start bringing in energy back into
younger players. You got to bring younger players in, right? And the defense has to play better too. They haven't played great defense either the last few weeks either.
No, but again, the defense they've made a lot of mistakes there. I don't understand how you look at that defense and tell me that defense couldn't have used bringing Jason Pierre-Paul back. I'm not even going to talk about any of the other guys. I'm going to talk about a guy who you could have brought back for next to nothing, who ended up signing a couple of weeks ago with Baltimore. And is playing with Baltimore now. You could have had that guy back, and you chose. I just don't get it. You chose not to bring him back on a defense that's been bad. I don't get what they're doing there. I don't know. I mean, Todd Bowles, I expected improved defensive play with Todd Bowles taking the team over, and I haven't seen it yet. They've got to turn it around. They've got to start today. They've got to beat up a bad team. Good teams are supposed to beat up the bad teams on their schedule. That's what they got to do. Our next game, you kind of gave us your pick on this one already. It's the 3-3 Falcons, the 3-3 Bengals. Me personally, I'm taking the Bengals in this game. The Bengals are another team that needs to start getting it right.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Bengals. Yeah, I think they will this week. I think you're going to see the team they were last year. Just throw the ball to Chase, throw the ball to Higgins, throw the ball to Boyd. Have Mixon run between 80 and 100 yards.
They've got to throw the ball. They've got to get Joe Mixon more involved.
Yeah.
They've got to get back to being a well-balanced offense that we haven't seen. We haven't seen out of them. And the key to that is the offensive line's got to play better.
Yes, I agree with that. But like I said, I think they will step up this week. I think they will beat a bad Atlanta team for sure.
I mean, the Falcons are not as good as the 3-3 record they have. I mean, you're looking at two teams with the same record. The Bengals are clearly the better team. The Bengals offensive line needs to give Joe Burrow and the offense time to prove that today. And as long as they do, I think the Bengals win this game easily.
I agree with you on that.
But now we're moving on to Dallas, where the 1-4 Lions, the 4-2 Cowboys. Dak Prescott's back today. Who do you like in this one?
Let's put it this way. I actually like the under on that game because what's going to happen is their biggest key for Dallas is going to be how good is Elliott and Pollard going to be today. Because they're not going to see Prescott throwing the ball 35, 40 times. There's no way. There's no way with that.
If they go back to that after seeing the success they had, where they featured the run a bit more with Cooper Rush, I would fire Mike McCarthy today. If win or lose, if you just turned around and brought the offense back to that out of nowhere when you were able to go 3-1 with Cooper Rush, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
that will be one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen.
Right, and their defense, and their defense has been great. Their defense has been great. I mean, the only guy they really have to stop on Carolina is Amar St. Brown. That's who you got to stop.
No, DeAndre Swift is going to be out again today.
Yes.
Jamal Williams has played well.
Right.
TJ Hawkinson can always be a problem. I think the Lions are going to stay in this game. I mean, we know from the beginning of the year, I've had an affinity for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. I like their style of football, but unfortunately it hasn't transitioned, and their defense needs to be better because the Lions are the highest scoring offense in the NFL right now.
Well, look what happened. Look what happened a couple weeks ago. They got destroyed by New England. Got shut out by New England.
The biggest problem is they're also the defense that gives up the most points.
Oh yeah.
And that until they get it all right, until they can go out and play 60 minutes on both sides of the ball of good football, I don't know when they're going to turn this around and when it's going to start transitioning to wins. So I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys today.
I agree with you on that too.
And Chet, we have our game, the Giants and the Jaguars. Who do you like in this one?
Giants by a touchdown, 27-20.
I'm going with the Giants as well. I don't look at this as a trap game. I just think there's people out there giving the Jaguars more credit than they've earned. I'm not going to say than they deserve. More credit than they've earned. The Jaguars are going to be a team over the next year or two that we see turn around and become one of the better teams in a stacked AFC. but it's not going to start this week. The Giants are going to continue to be a well-coached, good team. We talked about it in the preview. I'd love to see the offense start quicker.
Yep.
Maybe they will today. But I like the Giants by a touchdown. I'm going to go a little higher scoring in this one. I'm going to go 35-28.
Ooh, okay.
I want to see some points on the board in that game today. So that's what I'm going with. Next up, we got the 3-2-1 Colts at the 3-2 Titans. Who do you like in this one?
I actually, at this point this week, like the Titans. I do.
I can't see who wouldn't, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't like to take the Titans in this matchup? I mean, the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, I believe, is back today.
Yes.
Hopefully that's going to improve the offense. But I haven't seen enough where I'm going to think the Colts are going to be better than one of the better teams. Maybe they haven't showed it at all times this year, and they definitely haven't, the Titans. But I think they're going to turn it around today. I think we're going to see a big game out of Derrick Henry. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to manage the offense, and their defense is going to shut down the Colts. Matt Ryan last week threw, I believe, 42 times.
Yeah.
Nobody, including Frank Reich, ever wants to see that again. I don't think they're going to look to throw that much with Taylor back there. I think Nyheim Hines is also back today, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Titans are going to win.
I mean, the Titans to me have got one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and really nobody really talks about all the time. And Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, that guy's unbelievable.
Yes, the Colts.
He's unbelievable. Like this guy is
absolutely. And my problem with the Colts, my biggest issue with the Colts is I feel like the Colts think they're better than they are. And I feel like they've done it for the last 4 years now. We're trying to plug in quarterbacks to just come in here. Oh, first it was Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Who, I mean, the funniest thing is Phillip Rivers has been the oldest out of all of them, and he's the one that had the most success, at least took him.
So far, yeah.
Carson Wentz at the end last year turned out to be a disaster.
Right.
Ryan now, I mean, we've seen
he looks old. He looks old the way he's playing.
Matt Ryan is showing his age. I don't know. I think they really need to concede the fact that they need to go out and draft a quarterback, and they need to build this offense with a young quarterback.
And I got the perfect quarterback they can draft next year, Indianapolis. C.J. Stroud.
Maybe it very well could be, but they need to do something there. They need to start going to the over the hill well with these quarterbacks, and they need to just get better.
Yeah.
Next up, the 3-3 Packers at the 2-4 Commanders. I'm going with Green Bay in this game. I said it earlier. Green Bay is going to run the ball. Green Bay is going to throw the ball. Green Bay's offense is going to outplay Washington on Washington's offense and defense. I'm sorry. They're a better offense than Washington. They're going to outplay Washington's defense today. The Packers are going to be 4-3 at the end of the day today, and that's really – I have nothing else left to say combined with what I said earlier on this game.
Okay. Well, I disagree with you. I actually like the Commanders. Taylor Heineke. They're much better with Taylor Heineke as a quarterback. Period. Like they are.
I get that. I get that.
Washington needs this game.
I don't disagree with you. But can you tell me they're much better, is still better than the Packers offense?
Yes. The Packers are horrible. I've said that to you all year. I said the Packers are the most overrated team in football.
The Packers are not good. And I've said it for a long time.
Yeah.
Eventually, the talent they keep leaving and not replacing with equal talent, it's going to catch up to them eventually. But I don't think it's going to catch up to them in this game. Jahan Dotson's out. Hopefully Heineke learns how to use Terry McLaurin more than Carson Wentz.
That was one of the other guys I was thinking of as a fantasy pick of the week. If anybody needs to pick up his McLaurin. I mean,
Brian Robinson has shown, there's no better story in the NFL this year than Brian Robinson.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry. That is a guy in my division or not, I will always root for and be happy to see the success that kid has. But I just don't think they're better. I think the Green Bay Packers can control this game with the combination of their running backs and the passing game that they do have.
Yeah, I'm not so. When I watched the last 2 weeks with the New York teams, Green Bay just looks awful. Period. On both sides of the ball.
I think we're going to see a turnaround a little bit from them today. I don't think the Packers are good, but I think the Packers are better than the bad teams, especially the bad teams in the NFC, and there are quite a few of them. Moving on, we pretty much gave our feelings on the Jet Broncos. We're on the opposite sides of that.
Yep.
I like the Jets. You like the Broncos. It's going to be a fun one there, and I think we're going to see a 5-2 New York Jet team at the end of the day, which I'm happy to see. As a New York football team, I'm happy to hear a buzz because you know what? My friggin' Yankees ain't giving me a buzz today.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't going to.
That's a tirade for another day. We're not getting into that right now. I like the Jets to be 5-2 at the end of the day today. Moving right into the next game, the 1-3-1 Texans against the 1-4 Raiders. Who do you like in this game?
I'll go with the Raiders.
Me
I
too.
think it's time to right the ship today.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it a family play. We're both on the Raiders. The Raiders' offense has been good. Their defense has been bad. Stop Dameon Pierce. You can win this football game.
Yeah.
It's that simple because they haven't showed they can do much else, if anything, besides run the ball with that kid.
Agreed.
Next up, the Seahawks, 3-3 Seattle, a team that I'm shocked has 3 wins. I got to be honest with you. They're going to 4-2 LA. You've already told us you like the Chargers in this one. I'm with you in it as well. I like the Chargers. I think we're going to start seeing the real Geno Smith as this season goes on. And I think it starts today.
Yeah, I was going to sit there and say, as of right now, he is actually the comeback player of the year. As of right now. As of right now.
I mean, I don't know. Do you really call it a comeback because you were a backup and now you're playing? I mean, I don't know. But if you do, I'm with you so far.
Yeah.
At 7 weeks into the season, that it's definitely Geno Smith.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you're going to start when you get these better teams, when you get a team like the Chargers who, they're really their own worst enemy, the Chargers, at most of the time, especially if they get Keenan Allen back today. They are the better offense.
Because right now, within the last 3 weeks, Austin Eckler's been the best player in football the last 3 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, and the Seattle defense really has not been that good.
No.
So, I mean, I think the Chargers are going to win this game today, and I think they're going to do it pretty convincingly. I see them winning it by a touchdown, to be quite honest with you.
I see more than that. I see them winning by at least 10.
Wow, that big one. All right, moving on. What's probably the game of the weekend, the game of the day, the game we're featuring for National Tight Ends Day.
Yeah.
4-2 Kansas City at the 3-3 49ers. Well, who do you like in this one?
I am actually going to go with San Francisco.
San Francisco. I mean, we know McCaffrey's going to be out there in a limited package. You're going to have something going for him. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I mean, once this offense is fully going with McCaffrey,
don't forget Wilson Jr. also. They're loaded there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you're going to stop them. But I got to be honest with you. There's a big change this week in the Kansas City offense. We are finally not going to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire as the starting running back of the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco is starting this game. I'm going with Kansas City here. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it could end. I think it could be a field goal or less is going to determine the final score. But I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs here.
I personally myself like the under in the game. I think it might be a little defensive matchup.
I don't know because this 49ers offense can play. Kansas City has shown. I mean, we all know the Buffalo game of last year. We all know last week. Kansas City has shown their defense can give it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think it's either way, over, under. I think it's going to be a tight one. I think we're going to see the Chiefs win by 3 points or less in this one.
I would say San Francisco. I say San Francisco by field goal. Yeah.
All right. We're going to see how that goes. Either way, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I'm ready for it. Then we have tonight's game, which could either become a really good football game or it's going to become another NFL stinkfest. We have the 2-4 Steelers at the 2 returning 3-3 Dolphins. Who do you like in that one?
I like the Astros. Oh, wrong game. Sorry. You see what I'm going to be watching tonight because that game to me is going to be like a snooze fest. If Miami don't win that game, even with Tua starting, if they don't win that game by 2 touchdowns.
I don't think it's going to be. I like the Dolphins as well. I don't think it's going to be by 2 touchdowns, though. I think it's going to be a touchdown or less. The Steelers. I don't know. I haven't seen yet if they've made an announcement who's in at quarterback, if Kenny Pickett's playing, if it's Trubisky.
Right.
I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of disarray with that team. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
there was the issues with Deontay Johnson and Trubisky. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's been cleared yet. I haven't seen anything to let us know what exactly is going on with that situation. He's not listed as that. I know. Yeah, he's not. Actually, no. Excuse me. I am wrong. Kenny Pickett is playing. I'm just looking it up right now. Kenny Pickett will be starting. So honestly, I like Pittsburgh's chances a little more, but I still say it's going to be the Dolphins. I hope Tua goes out there and plays well. And from a personal standpoint, I hope he stays healthy. I hope he stays upright. And I hope this kid is okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to run the ball enough today, Miami, to not really worry about.
I do, but when you have Tyreek Hill and you have Jalen Waddle, I know they're going to be throwing the ball.
I know they'll throw the ball.
I just want, he's back. I did not expect to see Tua back this soon. I hope it's the right move. And like I said, just from one human being, one man to another, I hope he's all right and this is the right move. I see the Dolphins are going to win this game. Moving on now to the final game of the week, our Monday night matchup, the 2-4 Chicago Bears at the 3-3 Patriots. I already told you, that's my bold prediction of the week. The Bears are going to beat the Patriots, and we're going to have a quarterback controversy in Bill Belichick's house for the first time in a long time. What do you think?
You want to talk about teams in disarray? Look at the Bears. They're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And there've been some quabblings about they're not happy with Justin Fields. Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen Justin Fields do anything to make anyone happy, so I can't see why you would be. But at the same time,
I wouldn't care if Bill Belichick's quarterbacking this team. Okay, Patriots are gonna win this game, and you know why? They're gonna run the ball with Harris and Stevenson all night long. All night long.
If the Bears can stop the run, the Bears can win this game. And
Bears can't stop hibernation. Okay, that's how bad they've been.
I don't know. Anything's possible any week in the NFL. That's why we love it. And we will see what happens there. But all right. I mean, this is the end of our show today. Chet, you have any final thoughts for the people before we head out?
Yeah, like I said, today should be a fun football week. If both New York teams win, look out. You're going to have big-time hype around New York. And, man, even Stephen A. Smith will sit there and compliment both New York teams for once.
Absolutely. We could end the day with a 6-1 and a 5-2 local football teams. That will be absolutely great. Guys.
And the fun part is we haven't even talked about the other New York team that's on a bye this week.
Yes. we will be back with them talking about the Buffalo Bills again next week. Yes. Guys, thank you all for tuning in. We will be here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Hopefully my partner remembers to show up next week. And I will see you tomorrow night for the Baseball Power Hour, where I promise you, whether they win or lose Game 4, you will hear me destroy the New York Yankees, because I am absolutely fed up with the entire organization, and that's all I got to say. Thank you. Enjoy your NFL Sunday. Hopefully the Yankees keep it going tonight and win another game. I'm not confident in that. But either way, I will see you tomorrow night. Enjoy your Sunday, and let's go Giants.
Thanks, Bill, for everything. See you guys.